Good morning, everyone. Here we are, day 7, the first big milestone of this challenge, 1 week done. I'm so proud of you for sticking with this. I hope you've been enjoying the mix of yoga and Pilates in this fun fusion format and that you're noticing a positive impact on your day. So today is a stretch, okay? So a feel good, yummy, stretchy flow. Really no strength required in this one. Mostly yoga poses, but we are going to start with mermaid, which comes from classical Pilates, a beautiful side body stretch. So in order to do mermaid, you can just tuck both legs over on towards your left hip. So I'm kind of sitting on my right hip and I have my knees bent and I'm tucking my feet in like you're tucking a tail, kind of like in that little mermaid stance if you had a fish's tail. And I'm gonna grab a hold of my ankle with my left hand. So I'm tucking everything in and then I'm gonna reach my right arm up overhead. So big length here through the right side of the waist. Inhale up and then exhale, crescent over. So big side body stretch. Inhale up through to center. And exhale, tilting over. Inhale up and exhale. One more like this. Inhale and exhale. Come all the way up, arms out, palms facing up, and we're just going to do the counter stretch. So you can bring this forearm down on the mat and reach that left arm up overhead. So what we don't want to do is lift that hip up. I want you to push that left hip out in opposition, keeping those legs tucked in. And you can push into that right hand to lift yourself up, and we'll go to the other side. You can kind of do a little teaser pose to switch the legs. So leaning back, extending the legs forward, and then just tucking them the other way. So I have my ankles in towards my right hip, and it's mostly just my left hip that's on the ground. I'm gonna grab a hold of my ankles. We're gonna inhale, lift and lengthen, and then exhale, side body stretch. Inhale, lifting up taller, relax the shoulders, and exhale. And going a little deeper every time you breathe out. Inhaling to lift and over. Coming all the way up, arms out, and we'll find that counter stretch. So my left hand is facing up. Right arm reaches up and over, push out into that right hip. And lifting ourselves all the way up. And let's bring our feet together for our butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together, knees apart, any distance that you would like here. And we're gonna start by walking, crawling the fingertips out, and then walk them over towards the right. So top right corner, stretching out. So especially first thing in the morning, odds are you're not at your full range of motion that you would have later on in the day, especially if you're really doing this right upon waking. So really don't feel like you have to be going very far in these poses. I'm up pretty high. It's totally fine. And walk your fingertips through to center so that we can switch over towards the left. Even softening through your jaw and through your facial muscles here. And then bring your hands back through to center and just fold from here. So I'm going to relax my arms, letting gravity pull me into that stretch. Deep belly breaths in and out through your nose. And let's walk our hands in, rolling back up. And we'll come to tabletop pose for a few rounds of cat and cow. Palms under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, tailbone up, and reverse exhale. And just keep going here. Find your own rhythm of movements. One more cycle. And we'll come to downward facing dog. We'll be setting ourselves up for pigeon pose. So walking the hands a little bit past the shoulders before lifting the hips up and back. And three-legged dog, reach that right leg up. I'm going to keep it straight and squared here. And we're going to bring that right knee behind the right wrist. Squaring off the hips so that you're not leaning on one side more than the other. Find a little back bend here first as you inhale. And folding down, exhale. And you don't need to come all the way. You can always stay up a little bit more onto your forearms. You're making a little pillow for your forehead as you soften into this deep stretch. 5 slow, steady breaths here. One more big breath. And try not to rush your transitions. They're just as important as the poses themselves. So you're just lifting yourself up. We're going to step it back into our downward facing dog, making any movements or adjustments. I'm not doing any vinyasas, like any flows in this class. I'm keeping it really stretchy. Of course, if you did want to at home, you could go from your plank to chaturanga and meet us back in downward dog. We're going to set ourselves up for pigeon on the second side. So left leg will stretch up and we'll bring our left knee behind our wrist, squaring off the hips. And start with a little back bend first, opening through your heart and folding on down. And really go through your variations. Don't rush all the way down to the mat. Make sure that that is appropriate for your body before you just assume that it'll feel the same way it did on the first side. Sometimes we need to adjust. There's nothing to prove. We're doing these classes to hopefully feel a little bit better throughout the day. So it defeats the purpose if we're doing these classes by putting pressure on ourselves, judging ourselves, pushing, having these great expectations of how we think our bodies should be moving and feeling. Some days are stronger than others. Some days we're more flexible than others. The longer you practice, the more you'll get used to those ebbs and flows, and you'll take them less seriously. So just breathing here. One more deep belly breath. And finding your downward dog, our last little downward dog. So again, you can take a little vinyasa if you'd like. I'm skipping it. I'm just going to stretch everything out in this down dog. Finding some space, curling tailbone up towards the sky. And let's set our knees down on the mat. Come to take a seat in any way that is comfortable. I'm going to grab our affirmation for the day. All right, so today's intention is themed around this affirmation. I free myself from destructive fears and doubts. I free myself from destructive fears and doubts. Noticing what comes up for you when you reflect on this. I free myself from destructive fears and doubts. Let's bring hands at the heart, chanting Om together. Breathe in. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you are super proud of yourself. It's a big deal to make it to the end of week 1. I promise a lot of people drop off from a challenge before this, so great job if you are still here. And again, I've said this before, but if at any point you do notice yourself falling off, maybe you miss a day, maybe you miss 4 days in a row, it doesn't mean that you have to scrap the entire 30 days. Jump back in when you can, okay? A little bit done consistently is way better than doing a lot, but just every now and then. So see if you can commit for the remaining rest of the challenge. See you again tomorrow morning for day 8.